Hello and welcome back to the Project Management PrepCast. I'm your instructor, Cornelius Fichtner, and this lesson is recorded with a live audience on Facebook and YouTube. And it is for those of you who are using the PM PrepCast training course and would like to have a study plan. As always, thank you everybody who is joining me live here on Facebook and YouTube for your interest and for being here. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat if you have them. And hello also to those who are watching this particular lesson here recorded. Here is our agenda for the day. So we want to first look at the PrepCast module and lesson structure to give you an idea of how the course is structured. Then we're going to take a look at the study plan. I have 3 strategies for you and 5 or 6 lesson schedules that you can follow. And as you will hear me say again and again, you should start by watching Module 0, and at the end we have then take action. So Module 0, I want to do a review of that. Hello, Kamar. Nice to have you with us as well here today. Okay, before we get started with looking at the module and lesson directory, a lesson structure, 2 notes. First of all, this lesson is particularly helpful for those of you who are studying for the PMP exam on your own. So if you are doing this in self-study, you can use the strategies and the plans that I outline in this lesson here. If, however, you have an instructor who helps you and guides you through your studies, so you have guided study, please do talk to your instructor and follow your instructor's strategy, right? I don't want to somehow mess things up for your instructor by you following this course here. But if you have nobody helping you, then yeah, follow the strategy here in this course. And also a second note, many of our students, they use the term PrepCast not only for our PrepCast training course, which is the thing here on the left, but also for our simulator on the right. This lesson here focuses on the PrepCast video training course, so the one on the left. If you are looking for a PMP study plan or a schedule that is only and specific for the simulator on the right, then this is not the right lesson for you to watch. This is all about our PrepCast video training course. But if you have the PrepCast training course, or if you are simply interested in a good PMP study plan, keep watching. All right. And with these 2 sort of preambles out of the way, let us get started here with looking at the PM PrepCast module and lesson structure. And welcome back, Tony Pony. Okay, so module and lesson structure. It's really quite simple. There is not much to say about it, to tell you the truth. Our course is structured into modules. All right, you have the bluish boxes here, dark bluer boxes here at the top, one module after the other until you're done. And then within each module, we have lessons. So the lesson you're watching right now is part of module 00, so lesson. And in some modules, we not only have lessons, we also have an assessment in one, we have articles in others, we have a final exam, we have FAQs, but generally speaking, most of the modules will consist of a module, a high level sort of a chapter, and then lesson that you are going to have to watch. And to make it easier for you, we do have the module and lesson directory. You can find that at pm-prepcast.com/directory. I have that open here somewhere. There we go. Let me bring this in. So this is our current PrepCast lesson directory, and the lesson you're watching right now is this one right here, the PrepCast PMP Study Plan. well, I'm recording it, so I don't know how long it's going to be, right? So, and you can easily see how this is structured here. Column A and B is the module, information about the module. Column C, D, and E is information about the lesson itself. And then F and G, these two columns, here we say, is this core or is this optional? Get to that in a little bit right there. Okay, and so in this way, you can scroll down and you can see all the lessons that are available, and you can even print this and highlight or scratch them out, or however you want to follow along, so that you know exactly which ones have I seen, which ones have I not seen. Kasim Abbas is also here. Hi, Kasim. Okay. Another important thing that I want to mention here regarding the module and lesson directory, this is read-only. If you want your own copy of this electronically, you have to file download as. So in other words, if you want to have a copy of this, just say file, download, and then you can choose however you want it. I believe you can also say make a copy here. Right? I think that's also possible. So if you want to Google spreadsheets, just hit make a copy and you will get a copy of this so that you can use this yourself. Okay. Then a quick note about the modules themselves. Here they are. Module 0, Exam Foundation. Module 1, Essentials. Module 2 is the people domain from the ECO. Module 3 is the process domain from the ECO. Module 4 is the business environment domain. Oh, there's a typo. Wait, let me fix that. This is not domain 4 of the ECO. This is obviously domain 3. Let's see if this works live. Make that change. There we go. Perfect. So this is domain 3 of the ECO, right there at the bottom left. Module 5 is Agile, and then 90 and 99, Assessment Certificate, and Goodbye. So these are the core, the main modules, the bulk of everything that we have here. Oh, and talking about the bulk of the training is really here in Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4, because these 3 modules, they map to the exam content outline. If you watched any of my previous lessons or other lessons, you know how I keep saying that the exam content outline is the most important document for the PMP exam, right? And here we go. In the middle, you can see people, process, business environment matches perfectly people, process, business environment that that we have here, right? And then this is the task and the enablers here on the right-hand side, right? And if you're interested a little more in the ECO and you want to know what that is all about, well, let's go back to the exam directory, to the lessons directory here. This is the lesson you're watching right now. And if you just keep watching in order, the PMP exam content outline is the next lesson in the order here, okay? So if you don't know what the ECO is, just watch the next lesson and you'll know. What I can also tell you is that there is a mapping between the PrepCast lesson directory as well as the ECO. And what we have here is Module 1 in the PrepCast. That kind of covers a lot of fundamentals for the PMP exam. So this covers kind of all the domains that we have. And this pains me to no end. Module 2 is domain 1. Module 3 is domain 2, and Module 4 is domain 3. We tried to make these equal, like, Module 1 is domain 1, but we couldn't. We had to put the fundamentals here as Module 1 and do it this way. And then Module 5, by the way, that doesn't map to any of the domains. It maps to the statement in the ECO that says the exam will consist 50% of agile and hybrid questions, because Module 5, that is our agile module. Okay, Just briefly, for those of you who don't really know the structure of the ECO, here you go. The ECO consists of 3 domains: people, process, and business environment, with 14 tasks, 17 tasks, and 4 tasks. And each of these tasks here is a lesson within our PrepCast. So if you're wondering, process task 6, well, that is module 3, so it makes that, that's domain 2, which makes it module 3. So just go to module 3 and look for the 6th lesson, and you'll get the 6th task, right? So this is kind of the structure. If you don't know what domains, tasks, and enablers are, here's a quick overview, right? A domain that the ECO talks about: high-level knowledge area, essential to the practice of project management. The tasks, those are all the things that you and I do as project managers day in and day out: leading people, helping people, making a budget, creating a schedule. Those kind of things are in the tasks. And then the enablers is a little bit below that. So, a task has subtasks, so to speak, and the enablers are kind of the examples of the actual work that is associated with that. Yeah, and that's it for our overview of the module and lesson structure, as well as the module and lesson directory of our PrepCast, which means we are now moving on to the actual, not wanting to move, there we go, to the actual PrepCast PMP Study Plan. Here I have 3 study strategies for you. I have a basic strategy, I have an intermediate strategy, and you guessed it, I have an advanced strategy as well. Let's take a look at them in order. So the basic strategy is really quite simple. Read the ECO, then watch all the lessons of the PrepCast. Could not be much simpler. Let's break this down into 2 steps. Basic step 1. I want you to download the exam content outline. I want you to read the exam content outline, and then I want you to take a highlighter. Best to print it, highlighter, red, green, yellow, and I want you to highlight everything in green. I know this, everything in yellow, kinda, everything in red, no idea what this means, okay? The details of this are in the next lesson when we talk about the ECO in more detail, right? But this is the basic strategy that I want you to follow with the exam content outline, and then over time, I want you to repeat this. Every time you learn something new, go back and, whatever was red, change it to green, right? I know it's a bit difficult, but you know what I mean. There's highlight it somehow in green and say, okay, this used to be red, now it is green. So that's the basic step 1. Basic step 2 is watch all the lessons. And because this is the basic step 2, I recommend that you watch all our lessons on your mobile phone, on your mobile device. Could be an iPad, could be some sort of a tablet, it doesn't matter, right? The PrepCast is a full-featured podcast, which means you can download everything to your phone. I don't even have my phone here to show you. Anyway, so here's what you need to do. You need to subscribe to the PrepCast in the app. You need to download in the app, and then you can play one lesson after the other. In regards to the recommended apps, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, use the Apple-provided Podcasts app. Works perfectly. And if you're using Android, I recommend Pocket Casts. It is free. It does everything that you need. One major difference between the two: Pocket Casts. In Pocket Casts, you can say download everything. In the Apple, you cannot. It's pretty much a streaming right there. For the instructions on how exactly to do this, watch Module 00.6, the lessons in Module 00.6. Remember, we'll be reviewing everything that's in Module 0 at the end here. One thing that I would like to stress here, in our mindset module, we have 3 lessons on the mindset: PMP mindset, agile mindset, exam mindset, okay? Watch these at the very beginning as you're going through Module 0. Watch them again about 2 to 3 weeks prior to the exam, kind of as a reminder and as a refresher of what the mindset is that you should have as you are walking into your exam. And that's it for our basic strategy. It's basic, so it's very quick. Intermediate strategy. Remember, the basic strategy was read the ECO, watch the lessons. Now here the intermediate strategy is read the documents and then follow the lesson schedule. Okay, here are the documents that I want you to read. The PrepCast lesson directory, then the exam content outline, then the PMBOK guide, then the Agile manifesto, then the Scrum guide, and then the PMI exam handbook. The reason why I have listed them in this order has to do with our module and lesson directory, because this is pretty much the order in which they come here in Module 0, right? So if you read, if you have these documents, you look at them, you will be well prepared on your way of going through your lesson plan and lesson schedule and watching your lessons. We'll look at the plans, the schedules in just a moment. Obviously, you don't have to read all of them like this, right? It's not like you have to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order and then watch the lessons, right? You can easily say, okay, the next lesson I'm going to watch is the exam content outline here. It's the one after this. So I'm now going to download the ECO here, and I'm going to read the ECO. Yeah? Then, wait, where is it? Then next, I'll hit the PMBOK guide lessons right there. So I'm going to kind of do it. I'm going to watch the overview lesson. Then I'm going to read some of the PMBOK guide. Then I'm going to watch the principles 1 to 4. I'm going to read those, right? So it is a question of really understanding that the lessons we give you and the documents we have, they're kind of a match. So you want to get these documents, you want to have these documents and combine them, read them as you're going through these lessons in Module 0. Once you're done with that, intermediate step 2 is pretty much the same as basic step 2. I want you to subscribe to the PrepCast on your phone, on your tablet, using a free podcast app, download everything, and then follow the lesson schedule, right? And we'll talk about the lesson schedule in just a moment. Don't worry, we'll get to that. And since this is intermediate, I want you to understand that we also have a learning management system, the LMS, Learning Management System. You will receive or have already received a username and password to get into that LMS. So I want you to log in, and I want you to follow the lesson schedule, your lesson schedule in the LMS. Let me show you what this looks like, the LMS. Just on a very high level. So after you log in to our website, this is what you'll see. You'll see our welcome page. I'm using my demo user here, so you will probably only have 1 or 2 items here on the left, probably the exam simulator and the PrepCast. I have a lot more because I do this for demos. So here is the PM PrepCast 2022. If you go into that, it'll open up sort of the hello page with a nice picture of me. And then here at the top right is the start button right there. And you can click on the start button, and this takes you to the first article within the learning management system. And if you hit the contents here, you can now see all the modules, and you can open this up here, and you can see all the lessons within the modules. This is almost a near perfect match, by the way, to the module and lesson structure that you'll find in the directory. Right. So in this way, you know that, this one here, where are we? Module 002, PMBOK Guide Principles 5 to 8 is in Module 002. So Module 002, Principles 5 to 8, right? There it is. Right. So you can easily find between the learning management system and the lesson directory here, you can easily find what you are looking for. So you want to log in, and you then also want to follow the lesson schedule. And I'm saying this as the intermediate step because At this point, maybe you're saying, oh, sometimes when I'm at work over lunch, I may want to just sit and watch something on the computer, right? Not just on the phone all the time, right? So you can bring this up at work, log into the LMS and watch a lesson in the LMS full screen, so it's a bit bigger for you there. Same as with intermediate step 2 as with basic step 2, rewatch the mindset lessons 2 to 3 weeks prior to your exam. The mindset lessons, again, they are in the mindset. They're here in the mindset module at the moment. Oh no, look, they're all out here. It still says in development right now, but they've just been published this morning then, which means I can now remove the in development there, okay? So these 3 lessons, I want you to watch them again. Okay, I keep talking about the lesson schedule. Let's take a look at a few suggested lesson schedules that you can follow. The first one is really quite simple. This is almost like strategy, the basic strategy. Just watch them in order. Let me give you a caveat here. In the end, it is a little bit of a grind. You have to watch all the lessons, right? It doesn't really matter in which order you watch them. There are a few things to consider, right? But in the end, you have to watch them. Watching the PrepCast is just as much a grind as if you're going to a live class where you have to sit there, 5 days, Monday to Friday, and sit through a presenter just going on and on and on and on. With the PrepCast, you can pause me, walk away and go, I need a break, okay? Whereas in a live class, you can not do that. So just watch them in order. Read the documents, start with module 0, then go to module 1, 2, 3, and so on. Schedule 1, in order, pretty simple. Schedule 2, agile first. In this second schedule, you still want to first read all the docs and go through module 0, right? So this does not change. Read the documents, go through module 0. But then, you want to switch over to module 5. Now that you have the foundation from the documents and module 5, you go straight to module 5, which contains all the lessons on agile and other adaptive project management methods. This is the approach that I recommend for those who have little to no agile experience. Because if you watch all the lessons in module 5 first, this will give you a solid agile foundation. And then as you go through modules 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, which are mapping to the exam content outline, they are a bit more plan-driven focused. Okay, so a bit more waterfall-y, if you allow me to say that. Right? Strong focus on that. It'll be much easier for you to spot and understand the differences between agile and plan-driven, predictive, right? Even better. Often even in module 2, 3, and 4, when we talk about something, I will point out differences between agile and between plan-driven to you. For example, in module 3, when we review the WBS, I'll be pointing out the similarities and differences of the WBS, mostly plan-driven, to the backlog, mostly used in agile approaches, right? And that's easier to follow if you actually know what a backlog is. So follow this schedule if you have little to no agile experience by front-loading module 5 right after module 0. Schedule 3. If, however, you feel, yeah, I'm good with agile, right? I am an experienced Scrum Master. I have done 16 agile projects already. I don't need to front load this. Then I recommend go straight to module 2, right? You still want to go through the docs there, right at the top. Documents at module 0. You still want to do that, but then you jump straight into modules 2, 3, and 4 in order to cover the central concepts that PMI and the exam content outline say that you will be tested on. Remember, module 2, this is domain 1 of the ECO, module 3, domain 2 of the ECO, and module 4, domain 3 of the ECO, right? And this is why I'm still getting confused with the numbers myself here. So 2 is 1, 3 is 2, 4 is 3. There we go. That's how it is, right? And then once you are done with these here, now you go back to Module 5, Agile. And then please feel free to skip in these here, right? If you're like, yeah, I'm an experienced Scrum Master, skip Scrum. You don't need it, right? Yes. And yeah, simply follow the rest in order here. You may also wonder, but Cornelius, why Module 1 here at the end? Honestly and frankly, Module 1 is sort of the foundation, the fundamentals of project management. What is a project? What is a baseline? At the time you're taking the PMP exam, you have 36 months at least of experience in project management. You should know what a project is. You should know what a baseline is, okay? But maybe you have never worked in the PMI environment. Maybe you use terminology from your own environment. Classic example is the schedule, right? Schedule response. Ask somebody to show you their project management plan. Most likely, they'll reach down and they'll hand you a project schedule, right? Those are the differences that you need to know. So this is a good, solid foundation, especially if you have never worked in a PMI environment with all the terminology that we and PMI use for this exam. Okay. Schedule 4. This is not really a lesson schedule. It's more an add-on to all the schedules so far. It boils down to this. No matter which lesson schedule you follow, you have to apply your studies, your lessons, your now new knowledge to an exam simulator. So as you can see here, in every one of those boxes in the middle, I have added the exam simulator to that particular box as a task to do, right? So let me give you 2 recommendations about using the simulator. First, after you are done with studying modules 2, 3, and 4, remember those are the domains, right? You are going to want to start taking quizzes on those. So, for example, you have watched all the lessons on domain 1, the people domain, right? And now you say, okay, now I'm going to switch over to the exam simulator. Give me a quiz, 25 questions, just from the people, right? All right, I did pretty well. Give me another one, right? And in this way, you start to get used to answering questions, and you can immediately apply the knowledge you have picked up in those lessons. Do the same thing there again and again. So after each of those modules, 2, 3, and 4, start taking quizzes. My second recommendation is this. You can start taking 4-hour-long exams at any time during your studies. So let me go one slide back here. If, for example, you have just studied module 2 and 3, and you are going to tell yourself, you know what? I feel good about this. I feel ready. Why don't I take a full 4-hour, 180 question exam? Okay, I haven't watched module 4, 5, and 1 yet. I may not know everything about what I need to know, but I feel good. I'm going to give this a go. That is perfectly okay. In fact, you will come in these exams that you haven't yet studied everything for. There will suddenly be a question that you go, I have no idea what they're talking about. Okay? Well, thank God this is only a test exam, right? Now you're getting the feeling for what does it feel like if I'm suddenly coming to a question where I have no idea. Now what do I do? How do I approach this? How do I analyze this question? How do I find the correct answer in a topic where I have no idea what they are talking about? Because one thing I can guarantee you, this is exactly what's going to happen on your PMP exam. There will be a few questions where you look at the thing and go, no idea what they're talking about. Well, thank God you have practiced this. Thank God you have an exam simulator that sometimes throws things at you that you really don't know, because then this isn't going to throw you off course in the real PMP exam. So take quizzes as soon as you are done with a module, and take full exams whenever you think my comfort level, my personal comfort level, is at the point where I can say, yep, I am going to take a full exam now. This here, by the way, should be your strategy for the simulator. Take both simulated quizzes and exams, and you should spend the same amount of time in reviewing as it took you in actually taking the exam. So if you take a 25 question quiz on the people domain, that's 25 times 76 seconds. Whoa, how many minutes does that up to? I don't know. 25 times 80, 160, 240, about 40 minutes, something like that in my head. Now spend 40 minutes reviewing every single question you had wrong. Why did I get it wrong? What does the reference say? Read up on this. Even those where you were guessing, right? Look at them and make sure that you know why you answered them incorrectly. Learn from your mistakes. Generally speaking, your target should be 75% correct. Not 75% correct the 15th time you answer a question. 75% correct the first time you answer any question. Overall, right? Our simulator keeps those statistics for you. Why? Because at the real exam, you only have one shot. The first time you take the PMP exam, you want to pass, right? You won't get the same exam multiple times on the real exam, right? If you only get 20% correct the first time on the real PMP exam, you're out, right? With the simulator, well, you just didn't pass that particular quiz, right? And the fifth time you take it, finally, you pass it. That's not the way it goes. The first time, 75%, the first time correct. Okay. In this way, you can go through the statistics. You can find out your weak areas. And you can say, oh, I'm really not that good in task number 5 of domain 2. Better repeat that lesson and watch that again so that I can understand better what is going on. Right. So much for our kind of schedule number 4, adding the simulator to your lesson schedule. Schedule 5. Build your own, okay? This is for those of you who feel that, you know what, I want to do this in my way. I want to do this in my order. I have a specific way that I prefer to do things. For example, maybe you say, I prefer to read documents first and then watch the lessons, okay? So I'm first going to read the complete PMBOK guide, then I'm going to watch the lessons on the PMBOK guide. I read something about the WBS in the PMBOK guide. Now I'm going to jump to the lesson on the WBS. I'm going to watch that because it was quite unclear how they explained it in the PMBOK guide. So I want to have a better understanding how Cornelius explains that in his lesson. Okay, so you build your own study plan. If you want to be really adventurous, bring up your phone, go to your podcast app, and hit shuffle. Play them in any order, but with my luck, it'll probably be, the first lesson that comes up is probably the one, thank you for watching. This is the last lesson of the PrepCast. Yeah, with my luck, I'll get the last lesson first, right? So yeah, shuffle, maybe not so. You should have a plan. You should have a schedule. If you do not know how to create your own exam study plan, here is a place to start. Go to pmprepcast.com/PMP Study Plan, PMP-Study-Plan, and you can then look at our article. Here it is, third tab. Here it is. This is the Creating Your Study Plan, the complete guide, okay? This is a really long article. I think it has 14, 15 chapters, something like that. Takes you through the 10 best practices of how to build your study plan. Let me go down to this one here, because here we have the PMP study template. So if you want to, speed up the process, we have 4 or 5. How many do we have here? We have 5, it looks like. We have 5 free study plan templates for you to download from 5 previous students who have said, yeah, you can use this, right, as a starting point, and then you can adjust or you can develop your study plan based on the adjusted template that you have downloaded here. And if you want to give it to us in the end, and you say, hey, I've come up with something completely unique, please feel free to send them to us. We will add it here so that it helps others as well. All right, do create your study plan. And then at one point, you're probably going to say, okay, I'm done. I want to apply for the PMP exam, but I need that certificate. Where is the certificate? The certificate is in Module 90. Yes, let me show you where that is. So if you are in the learning management system, again, you bring the contents down here at the top right with that button. You go to Module 90 right there. It is not yet here. It will be here shortly. Within a day or two after recording this, I'm going to add this because we are almost done with it. But right now, it's not here, the exam itself. And so here is where you can find it and take it. By the way, it's called final exam. It sounds like a really, really hard thing to do. No, it isn't, because this is not a test. This is an assessment. No matter how many questions you get right or wrong, because it is an assessment, there is no passing grade, you will be able to print your certificate. Okay, so that was it for our intermediate strategy. We're now moving on to the advanced strategy. And here, the advanced strategy is very simple. Follow the PM Study Coach guidebook. We do have another product called the PM Study Coach. This is intended to help those who want, I don't want to say everything on a silver platter, but who want a complete and tried and tested type of study strategy, study plan, and study schedule. The guidebook looks like this here on the left there. It'll pretty much tell you everything that you need. Lessons to watch, there are reading tasks there are assessments. We even go beyond. We'll give you things and tips and things where you can go and say, okay, this is where you need to go to see how this is actually being used in real life. There are select articles to read, important actions not to forget. For example, this morning, one student asked me, hey, at one point, should I be applying for the PMP exam? And where do I go and how do I do this? So all of these things that you shouldn't forget, like applying for the PMP exam, all laid out for you in the Study Coach guidebook. Recommended study materials. So far, we've had 1,116 students who have used those guidebooks. You can't believe how annoyed I was when I saw that number. I thought, oh, if only I had looked at that number 5 days ago, it would have been 1,111, 1111. Yeah, okay, it's 1116. All right. There are 2 versions, the regular schedule and the express schedule. And at the time of this recording right here, the 7th edition is in development. We first have to finish all the lessons of the PrepCast training course. And then the next thing we'll do is we will update the guidebooks to the 7th edition, to our new course. Here it is. Here are the 2 versions. On the left, you see the PM Study Coach, the regular version, about 12 to 14 weeks. That's how much it'll take you to go through it at a normal pace for normal people. But if you want the express approach, and if you're pressed in time, about 4 to 5 weeks, that is going to be the express version of our PM Study Coach. All right, that's it for our 3 strategies. The basic strategy, basically read the exam content outline, put the PrepCast on your phone, and start watching. Intermediate strategy, read all the documents and then start watching the PrepCast either on your phone or in the LMS, following your preferred lesson schedule. And I've given you 5 or 6 potential lesson schedules, 6 including if you press shuffle on your phone. And then the advanced strategy, follow the study coach guidebook there, which means we're done with the strategies, and we are now going to take a closer look at Module 0. You've heard me say this throughout this lesson again and again. Read the documents first, then watch Module 0. Lay the groundwork. This will give you a solid understanding of what the PMP exam is. We'll look at some fundamental documents. We'll help you understand the mindset. Everything is there in Module 0. So don't skip that, okay? You'll be sorry afterwards. Okay, and yes, I keep repeating myself, but it is so important. Read the exam content outline before watching Module 0. You should know that by now. Okay, so Module 0 consists of 8 sub-modules. So Module 00.0, that's the one you're actually in right now. It has 2 lessons. That is the welcome module. The welcome lesson tells you everything about the course on a very high level, gives you the learning objectives, and the PMP Study Plan lesson, you're watching it right now, is also in 00.0. 00.1, that is the most important document that you need to read for the PMP exam, right? This is about the ECO, the exam content outline. This is what the exam will test you on. You've already read it before you even got to it. Once you have watched this lesson, you will really understand what the PMP exam is all about, what it'll test you on, and what you need to do in order to have a solid way forward. So do this next. Read the ECO, watch the lesson about the ECO. That's kind of my thing. We'll get back to that. Take action at the end. 00.2, project management standards. Here we review a few items from the PMBOK guide. It's actually not the PMBOK guide itself that we're reviewing. We have taken the PMBOK guide as a starting point for a lesson on the principles and the second lesson on the performance domains, and we review those from the perspective of experts out there. So we go beyond and above and beyond the PMBOK guide for the PMP exam. The Agile Manifesto is in there, the Code of Ethics is in there. So all those basic documents that you need to do. Okay. Then 3, Module 003, this is about the PMP exam. Everything you always wanted to know about the PMP exam, but we're afraid to ask, that is explained in here. It also includes a lesson on recertification. I know you're not interested in this yet, but at some point in the future, you're going to have to recertify, so you'll need to know how that works. Module 00.4, lessons learned. One of the best ways to get started is to learn from those who have gone before you. There are 2 lessons here at the moment, lessons learned. I have 2 guests here, Dana Domnishore and Sudeep Roy, and I actually have many more lessons about lessons learned, webinars. You'll find them on YouTube and Facebook. Just check out PMP exam lessons learned, Cornelius Fichtner. You'll find many of them. I've only taken 2 of those and added them into the lesson directory here of the PrepCast because I have 2 guests here. And so you can hear from them, directly from them personally, how they did it, how they approached it, right? So this will be very helpful because you get from 2 people who have done this before. Okay. Module 005, the PMP mindset. This is the one that I said, watch them now and then repeat them again before the exam. We talk about 3 mindsets. It's part 1 is about the PMI PMP mindset. Part 2 is about the agile mindset. And part 3 is about the exam taking mindset. 006. This is more documents and FAQs. There are actually no real video lessons in here. So this is only in the LMS. So if you download the podcast, the PrepCast as a podcast to your phone or your tablet, you won't find this here. right? Because we can only give you videos and audios. You can't give documents as part of that, right? So the lesson directory is here, how to download it to a podcast app. Now, somebody asked me, should this really be up here that early? Shouldn't this go in the appendices? At the very bottom. If you look in the LMS here, in the LMS, you can see we have appendices down here, right? Appendix A and so on, right there. Okay, yeah. But we have this information up here, 006, right up here. That's where we're talking about right now, right? So why do we have them up here? Many people watch the PrepCast in order, top down, right? You would probably be very annoyed with me if you come down here and suddenly you see, here is how you download it to your phone. Yeah, I've already watched everything. Thank you for telling me now. Okay, yeah. So this is why we have this information in module 006. Okay. Then module 007, again, this is in the LMS only. This is a self-assessment, 20-question quiz, some basic project management topics that we have questions for you for. Allows you to establish a baseline before you really get started. Okay. Yeah, and before we close this with my take action, let me remind you, right, the fact that we have a fully featured exam prep training course, the PM PrepCast, which is what we talked about today. And then we also have the PrepCast simulator on the right. So pmprepcast.com will get you to the training course, and pmexamsimulator.com on the right will get you to the exam simulator. And I think this question here from John Johnson actually relates to the exam simulator on the right. Okay, so John, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are probably saying, when you say my PrepCast here, you mean my PrepCast exam simulator expires in July. Okay, and this is kind of what you're wondering. Okay, so here's the thing: if you have the PrepCast exam simulator, it is updated, right? You don't need a new version. The simulator is always updated. Whereas the PrepCast training course on the left, that we have two versions. We have PrepCast 6 for the previous exam and PrepCast 7 for the current exam. But here is the good news. Even if you have PrepCast 6 on the left, the previous version, we have had over 1,600 people since the exam changed using only that PrepCast 6 version in order to prepare for the PMP exam. The PrepCast 6 course prepares you perfectly for the current exam. We've updated it, we've added stuff to it, we made sure it covers everything you need, but it follows the PMBOK Guide 6th edition structure. That's the only difference. The new course doesn't follow the PMBOK 6. It follows a different structure, the one of the exam content outline. The information that we give you, the training that we give you, prepares you perfectly for your PMP exam. All right. Take action. Take action to close out our lesson here. I want you to start right. I know I sound like a broken record. I apologize. Print and review the exam content outline. It is that important. And then go through module 0 of the PrepCast. Once you're done with that, you may want to think about creating a study plan. Right? You may also want to create a study plan even before that, right? It depends on where you are and how you want to do this, right? And once you have a study plan, once you have also maybe a study plan, not only the plan, but also a schedule, right? Then I want you to simply do 3 things. I want you to watch, I want you to learn, and I want you to succeed on your PMP exam. Yeah. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in our review of the PrepCast PMP Study Plan. I hope this lesson has helped you in better understanding and grasping how the PrepCast is designed, how it works with those modules and lessons, and all the various ways in which you could watch them. Everybody's different. That's why we have so many options. But now that you've seen all the options, you probably already know, oh, you know what? This one here, that will work best for me. And with that, thank you very much. Until next time.